$27 trillion has been confirmed by massive banks like JP Morgan and BlackRock to be entering into the XRP ledger at scale, causing for what is expected to be $480 per XRP. And the crazy part is that $27 trillion is already beginning to get injected into the XRP ledger. Take a look at this whale, for example, that just happened in the last 24 hours, purchasing over $500 million worth of XRP, following a report that highlighted that JP Morgan Payments and G Treasury, which is owned by Ripple Labs and uses XRP, have officially partnered to facilitate payment transactions. It also comes as JP Morgan confirms, and in this case BlackRock, that $9 trillion is set to be invested into Ripple Labs and XRP. And most importantly, Ripple CEO comes up publicly and says XRP was built to be a global reserve currency. Just listen to this.
This is a question regarding XRapid. So it seems, according to your explanation, XRapid would use XRPs as a part of the transaction. Do you think that the existing issued 100 billion XRPs will be enough to cover once the XRapid service scales to a global full scale, or would there be a shortage?
Well, so when XRP was created, this actually was created before Ripple existed. The creators of XRP decided there'd be 100 billion units because they saw it as rather than having a smaller number with a very high price, they saw it as something they wanted to be effectively a global reserve currency. I think the opportunity, there never will be more than 100 billion XRP. All the XRP that have ever been created have been created.
And as 4,000 banks in the United States of America are in discussions to partner with Ripple to use XRP and utilize it within their payment infrastructure, it's no shock that, hundreds of millions of dollars are now being purchased worth of XRP, and that central banks are officially getting ready to unlock trillions of dollars onto the XRP ledger, and it will cost for over $500 per XRP. And let's take a closer look at this. Because while XRP's price currently sits at $1.86, it's up about 2%, the true price of XRP is potentially going to be as high as $500, and all within the next couple of weeks, because trillions of dollars will begin flowing into the XRP ledger. And again, it's already happening as we see the big $500 million purchase of XRP. These few transactions that just occurred happened very recently. Guys, it's so important to understand that XRP is going to be very critical and very high. So we partnered with Apple to give every single person watching in today's video up to $100 of free cash for you guys to accumulate some free XRP. This is your chance to get yourself free money by spending less than 5 minutes of your time. Just log in, sign up, do a transaction, and that's it. You got yourself your juicy bonus. And what makes it so much better is if you guys do like and comment and subscribe on the channel, then you'll enter a giveaway automatically to win yourself some free XRP as well. So take advantage of this golden opportunity. It's literally free money. I definitely recommend it, and let's get back to the video. So as we talk about $500 per XRP, it's important to understand where the money's coming from. And yes, while 27 trillion is going to come from the idle capital that banks and financial institutions on a small scale are actually facilitating, there's going to be so much more money that's going to get pumped right in to the XRP ledger. And yes, institutions are buying, whales are accumulating, and millions, and in fact hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent to capture and get as much XRP from retail hands out of it and into institutional hands. Because if anybody needs XRP, it is more really institutions than retail. And so the shift is happening. And that's clear with institutions like RealFi, which is a payment rewards framework and solution that is going to unlock a massive $600 trillion market via the Real token, which is built directly on the XRP ledger and burns XRP with every transaction. Now imagine a $600 trillion market coming onto the XRP ledger directly and being injected into an XRP ledger project. The supply shock would be massive enough to skyrocket the price of Real token and also the price of XRP. And I mean, these guys are now scaling. RealFi has officially partnered up with MEX, they've officially partnered up with CoinMarketCap, and so many other institutions that really are critical to the expansion and adoption of the XRP ledger. And all of it is happening through the Real token built on the XRP ledger, which is critical. Just take a look at this. This is the Real token that is literally going to facilitate $650 trillion. It's going to cost for the XRP ledger to experience a massive supply shock, and it's going to go potentially, as some people are saying, to $60,000, which may sound like an exaggeration, and it probably is crazy. But if you just do some simple math, 1% of 650 trillion would literally mean $64,500 per XRP. That's what a lot of prominents are, analysts are expecting. if that number actually flows through. 654 trillion, 1%, you're talking about $65,000. But we don't even need to get there because real token is currently priced at 2 cents, and it could literally skyrocket with, only a couple $1,000 to $7-8. So imagine that scale. $7 to $8 per real token from 2 cents would literally be generational wealth for a lot of people, creating hundreds of thousands of dollars per person, maybe even $1 million per person. That's already insane. And now imagine that with, at scale, because real token is getting adoption, real token is getting global scalability, and people and institutions are using the real token in a day-to-day basis. Institutions need and require the real token to facilitate payment rewards, and so this is why it is extremely important. And with the real token having a very low supply compared to any other project, we're talking only 1 billion max supply, which is nothing, specifically at the scale that they're trying to solve and the problem that they're trying to solve. You're talking about, $60,000 potential is insane. It's insane, but it's because of the massively low supply. And you're talking about a $650 trillion market, right? So that's the scale. With a very low supply, you can very easily have supply shock that will cause the price of real token to actually soar substantially higher. And with the charts looking like this, we're looking at consolidation, massive breakout potential. You're talking about very strong support, very low resistance. There's a lot of potential that the real token could literally skyrocket to $7, $8, $9 in a mere days. Because again, talk about institutional adoption and very low supply. If there's one project that could literally go from a penny to a couple $100, it's got to be a real token, and it can do that in a very short time frame. In fact, the real token went from 1/100 of a penny to 2.5 cents only in a matter of mere months. And again, talking about a project that's very new, wasn't listed on a single centralized exchanges, that yet had substantial exponential growth. And so this is why I'm extremely bullish on the real token. This is why, again, you got to understand that I got myself a nice bag of real token, because the potential here is huge. And because it's backed by a massive institution, which is RealFi, which is literally unlocking again the $650 trillion market. And real token is, of course, getting that globalization and the adoption, and people are starting to see it. It's just got listed on CoinMarketCap. Again, if you take a look at this, the volume's up 30%, which is bullish. When the entire market's in the red, it is in the green. So obviously, this is what you want to see in a project that is really growing. Again, a project that is a utility-based coin, solving a multi-trillion dollar problem, and one that you could see exponentially skyrocket and make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on a day-to-day basis. This is extremely bullish. And so I'm going to leave the link down below in the description for everything. You're going to be able to look into the real token. You're going to be able to trade the real token. Whatever you want to do, the links will be down below. And again, you can always check it out on CoinMarketCap. Head over and write real token, and you can find it. And then you click on MEX right here, or you can search directly on MEX, MEXC, and just write in the real token, and you'll find it as well. In fact, you can also visit RealFi or payrealfi.com to learn more about RealFi, the institution that actually uses the real token. And again, look into the specific details. They have a lot of information about this and the different frameworks that they use to incorporate the real token, which is extremely bullish. And that's why, again, I'm very bullish. You don't always just look at the token, you look at the institutions using, the real token. And for example, the institutions using XRP, like Ripple's using XRP for all the payment infrastructures, which is what makes XRP a big deal. And the same reason goes for the real token, which is RealFi's using the real token for their payment rewards infrastructure. And on top of this, it's on the XRP ledger, and it's on a multi-trillion dollar problem, which makes it so much more bullish. And so if you take a look at the whole market and we look at where we're progressing, the XRP cryptocurrency is up about 2% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin is consolidating. What I actually think is going to happen in the next couple of days is a massive rebound. I think we're going to skyrocket again. Bitcoin is going to recover back to 100,000. XRP is going to recover back above $2, and we're going to continue to soar for the next couple to 1 to 2 weeks before we then hit a massive bear market and the markets collapse, and then we sit in a bear market consolidation for another 3 to 4 years, which is typical for a cycle. Now, of course, what this really means is that you want to be up on your game over the next couple of days, getting into cryptocurrencies that you think are going to create generational wealth in the long run. You're talking about utility-based tokens, things that can skyrocket. One of them is real token, in my opinion. I think we could literally skyrocket to $70, $80 in the next couple of weeks, which is going to be very important before the consolidation, before the bear market, because you want to be able to accumulate as much as you can before that massive bear market hits. And so you got to be looking out for those types of currencies, those types of projects that are solving a problem, that are still going to be alive even after the bull market finishes and we go into the bear market. Because even during the bear market, people can still make a lot of money through projects that are actually solving a real problem. Through, again, projects that are new, projects that are solving a real problem, that are utility-based. Meme coins are going to be done. They typically end up dying in the bear market. But you got to be looking at projects that are solving a multi-trillion dollar problem in the real world, like real world assets, payment rewards, payment infrastructure. Those are what are still going to be leading the path. And so it's very important to just keep a very close eye on all of that while you're in the space right now. I also want to quickly mention that I'm going to conclude the video here because I don't want it to be too long. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, you subscribe, share this video, let everybody know as well to claim their free rewards, because again, we are giving away free rewards. All you have to do is sign up and upload using my link in the description and do a transaction, and you're going to get yourself up to $100 worth of free XRP to get yourself some free money. So again, it's literally free money. Just sign up, get your money, buy XRP, buy whatever you want with it. It's literally free. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.